If you want to learn from the pros and become the best Madden player possible, check out Playbook GG. Link is in the description and in the pinned comment below.
What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you the 5 best types of runs for Madden 20. Not specific run plays, but actually the type of run play that you can find in every playbook, and these are going to be the best runs to put the ball on the ground and really pound it forward for some easy yardage in Madden 20. If you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date on tips and news, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you never miss any uploads. So here at the play call screen, the first thing I want to show you is you can go to the concept tab on the playbook screen, and the first page that's going to pop up are the types of runs. So if you want to find the types of runs that I'm talking about in today's video in your playbook, you can just look at the concept tab and you can see you have outside zone runs, which is the same as a stretch. You have sweeps and tosses. You have inside zone runs. You have ISO runs, which is the same as a halfback dive. You have counters. You have draws. You have powers like the power O. You have 0-1 traps, end arounds, jet sweeps, and things like that. But the first run I want to talk about today is the halfback draw. Specifically out of shotgun is where I like to use this. I don't like to use under center draws, but out of shotgun these can be very valuable because if you're especially more of a pass heavy guy, you still want to run the ball a little bit to keep the defense honest. You want to make them think that, you know, you could be running it at any time as well. They can't just sell up to stop the pass, and the halfback draw is really great to go to when you want to keep the defense honest, especially people who love to sit in cover 4. That is a popular coverage shell for a lot of people, because the cover 4 does a good job at defending the pass, but it's also good at stopping the run because the safeties are in run fits, which means they have to read if it's a run or a pass first, and they fill the gaps very well in a cover 4. But when you run a draw, the safeties think it's a pass play because it looks like a pass play, so they actually start backpedaling a little bit, and that makes it very easy to run the ball. So specifically, if you're playing someone that's running a lot of cover 4, think about throwing some halfback draws at them, but otherwise this is a very good play to mix in for you pass heavy people that like to pass out of shotgun. Up next is the fullback dive run, and this might shock you to see this on the list, but the fullback dive is actually really consistent this year, but it's more of a specialty type run you want to use in short yardage situations, and what I like to do is sub a running back in at the fullback position. You want to find the running back on your roster that's kind of the more bruiser running back. He has good truck rating, you know, good strength, good break tackle, because that's going to allow you to fall forward and pick up those 1 to 2 guaranteed yards. Now the thing about the fullback dive this year is if the defense is not, you know, putting a lot of people in the box to really try and stop the run, you can actually gash them with the fullback dive for good yardage. But right here, that example right there, picking up those 2 yards, that's what you're expecting when you use this run. It's a great short yardage run, 2nd and inches, 2nd and 1, 3rd and inches, or on the goal line even. If you're on that 1 yard line, 1.5 yard line, and you put a bruising running back in there at fullback, you're going to be able to fall forward typically and pick up the 1 to 2 yards you need to convert, and that's why it is such an important run this year. But as you're seeing in some of these clips here, if you do not play, you know, a very aggressive run type of a defense, you can actually gash them with this. And because you have a running back in here and not an actual fullback, you have the ability to pull away from defenders easier because you have more speed and you have, you know, better open field moves than a fullback has. So as you can see on a lot of these runs, we're actually gashing the defense for, you know, 7+ yards. But the worst case scenario, typically you're going to get the 1 to 2 yards you need in a short yard situation. So again, here you see we're still able to get the 2 yards that we need, even though we would have liked to get a little bit more, but you're pulling it out only for those short yardage situations and on the goal line. Up next is the inside zone run, specifically out of shotgun formation. So kind of how we talked about the halfback draw earlier, the inside zone is going to be another run that you can use to keep the defense honest. But the difference with the inside zone is it's got a lot more big play potential, and it is something you could actually really scheme around. And the great thing about this, as you see on the first clip here, we actually take it to the outside. We didn't actually go inside with it, and that's one of the great things about the inside zone is it's versatile. You can actually take it up the A gap, or you can kind of cut it slightly and take it up the B gap, or you could cut it completely all the way to the outside if you see that it's open. It gives you the freedom to kind of pick the lane that you want. As you see here, we kind of cut it a little bit to the outside, and you can't do that with all runs in the game. Not every single run gives you that ability to kind of have full control and break it everywhere you want to go. And specifically, this run with Ezekiel Elliott is even a little bit better because Ezekiel Elliott in the regular team version of the game, so not ultimate team, but if you're playing just regular teams, he actually has an ability that gives him better blocking running on inside zone runs. So that's why you see that the X underneath him is red, because it's letting you know that you're using the type of run that actually takes advantage of his ability, and you're the only person that could see the red X. Your opponent can't see that, so it's not like a dead giveaway to your opponent when you use this. But as you can see, this is one of the best runs in Madden. It has been for a number of years now, especially for those people that like to pass a lot out of shotgun. The inside zone really forces the defense to have to stay honest, and this year more than ever it's even better, because for years people would run, you know, the heavy pass defenses like dollar, or, you know, sometimes quarter, or even nickel 3-3-5, and they were able to defend the pass but also stuff the run very consistently out of that. But this year, if you're running formations like nickel 3-3-5 or dollar or quarter, you're gonna get gashed the majority of the time if somebody goes with the inside zone run. So you have to play a little bit more of a balanced defense, or else you're gonna run that risk of just getting completely gashed for 5 and 10 yard gains with inside zones all day long. And the great thing about this too is it's littered in every playbook. All types of shotgun formations, pretty much every shotgun formation in the game is going to have an inside zone run, and you're gonna definitely want to keep this in your back pocket. You're going to want to use it at least every, you know, so many plays. Keep the defense honest and pick up the easiest rushing yards you could possibly get. So up next we have the halfback dive / halfback ISO runs. They're the same thing. Sometimes they'll be called a halfback ISO, sometimes they'll be called a halfback dive. I like these best out of I formation and single back personally. You can run them out of things like strong and weak eye, but I just prefer them out of single back and I formation. And this is another one that's just been one of the best runs in the games for years. It's the most simple run, it's the most plain of the runs, if you will, but it is so consistent at picking up easy yards. And just like the inside zone that we just talked about out of shotgun, another good thing about the halfback dive is it does give you that freedom to cut it back and actually bring it to the outside if you see that there's no defenders on the outside. You see right there in that example, we cut it back a little bit and went up the B gap. Now typically with a dive, you're really not supposed to cut it back. You're supposed to just take it up the middle, but you can see right here, if that outside is wide open, you have that freedom to cut it back. It's one of those runs that doesn't take you like very strong to one side or the other, so it just kind of takes you up the middle, and it allows an easy cutback for you if the outside is wide open. And that's another reason why I love the halfback dive. But to me, this is the best inside run in the game, and it has been for years. You're not looking to hit a home run with it. Sometimes you will if the blocking sets up and you have good stick at kind of, you know, weaving your way through the defense, or if, like I said, the outside opens up and you just cut it back for a big gain. But usually you're looking to pick up 4 to 5 yards with this. If you can get 4 to 5 yards with a halfback dive, you are golden. That is exactly what you're looking for. You're just trying to make sure the defense has to respect it, because typically under center, the two things you want are, you want an outside run and you want an inside run, and the halfback dive / halfback ISO is going to be the best inside run you can get. It has a very quick handoff. It's not a prolonged handoff, because there's certain, you know, inside runs from under center, like an inside zone, that has a little bit longer of a handoff, or like certain zone runs, it takes a little bit longer to get the ball into the running back's hands. As you see, again, we're cutting it back to the outside because it was wide open. The halfback dive gets in your hands really quick, and you have freedom, and it's just very easy to maneuver in and out of the blockers and the defenders with it. So definitely make sure you take advantage of the halfback dive in your playbook. And last but not least, we have the stretch / outside zone runs. Without a doubt, the best type of run in Madden 20. Now, I use the Raiders playbook, and the Raiders playbook has all of the best stretch plays. They have it out of I form close. They have it out of the I form close slot. This one is really good. They have a ton of them in single back, like single back deuce close. That's been one of the better stretches for a couple years now. And then they also have this new formation, which is the weak flex close, that has a halfback stretch. That's the first one we're going to run here. There's just a ton of great stretch plays in this playbook, and the thing with the stretch is you could flip it to either side, so you use the right joystick, you could flick it to the left or to the right if you want to change the side that the run is going to. But this is the biggest or best home run hitting type of run in the game for sure, at least as of right now. Tosses this year are not very good. Those are typically the better, you know, home run hitting types of runs. The toss didn't even make my list this year because I don't know what they did with the toss, but it's just, they don't work as good as they used to, and that's been one of the better runs for the past 2 years. But the stretch this year is still good, if not better. It's definitely the best outside zone type of run in the game, and you're gonna eat defenses alive with this. I'm running a lot of stretch early in the year out of I form close and things like that, and I'm easily rushing for over 100 yards a game, sometimes 200 plus yards a game, because the blocking just sets up really nice on this. And especially you know, with how good things like the juke move and the stiff arm are this year. That's what's great about the stretch, is you get to the outside and you always get that opportunity to kind of juke back to the inside. You get defenders kind of set up on that perfect angle because you're running at that slant to a sideline, and then you could easily just flick the joystick, kind of juke back inside. Or if you have a guy that's good with the stiff arm's really good this year. You could stiff arm them off of you and pick up extra yards, and that's what I love about the stretch, is it puts you in a lot of those one-on-one situations with DBs who are very easy to either fake out, or if you have a bigger back, they're easy to truck over, and you could just pick up a lot of really good yards with this run this year. And like I said, with the ability to flip it to either side, like here out of the I-form closed slot, you can see we're taking it to the outside, but there's going to be some examples where I'm going to take it behind the wide receiver side. Typically, you know, best practice is you want to take it to the side that's green. If you hold the right trigger before the play, it'll show you which side you have the numbers advantage. You see, again, one juke move can lead to a touchdown with this. But you'll see in the box, it'll have the red side and then it'll have the green side. Typically, you want to take it to the green side, but like here in this example, I'm actually taking it to the red side because when you go behind the wide receivers on this run, you actually get really good blocking, so it kind of doesn't matter in that sense. But those are my top 5 runs in the game. The first 4, or the first 2, I guess, are kind of not as great as the last 3, the inside zone, the halfback dive, and the stretch. Those are by far the best runs you want to utilize in this game. They're in every playbook, so definitely use them to your advantage. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, as always, you know the drill. Just like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.